I hope you have your 3D glasses ready for this one. As you know, Warner Brothers recently released a 3D Blu-ray edition of Dial M for Murder, and I'll have something to say about that in the weeks to come. What I wanted to show you today was a little video that I put together back in the spring with a few friends, which was really a little bit more than an elaborate practical joke that I wanted to play on a few friends and colleagues. I took the simple premise: what if Alfred Hitchcock had actually intended to make Rear Window in 3D? Would the geniuses at the studio involved actually run with the idea and, using today's technology, churn out a 3D version of the movie? With that in mind, I put together a scenario with enough plausible details, using correspondence in Hitchcock's actual handwriting, merely rearranging a few words and phrases to suit the story. I commandeered a couple of friends, cast them as a producer and a visual effects artist, put together some graphics to explain the process, and then using After Effects, I added dimension to a few shots from Rear Window, which you'll see near the end of the video. In the end, the reactions were mixed from, "Damn, this will be so cool, when does it come out?" to, "God, please say this isn't so, you can't fuck with Rear Window." The video even managed to become the discussion on a few HD forums, where a few users actually went about researching to find out whether or not the project was actually real. I hope you enjoy.
I've seen it through that window. I've seen bickering and family quarrels and mysterious trips at night, and knives and saws and ropes, and now since last evening, not a sign of the wife.
It's too obvious a stupid way to commit murder. Full view of 50 windows.
Just where do you suppose he cut her up? Tell me everything you saw. And what you think it means.
Do you suppose it's ethical even if you prove that he didn't commit a crime?
The whole concept of a 3D version of Rear Window began at Warner Brothers, which was, oddly enough, the studio that Hitchcock left in order to make Rear Window. We were contacted by somebody at Warner Brothers, and they told us that they had some sketches and correspondence that had been exchanged between Hitchcock and his longtime director of photography, Robert Burks, that showed that Hitchcock was making Dial M for Murder in 3D only as a warm-up, as a dry run for the one he really wanted to do, which was Rear Window.
Now, since the 3D fad had come to an end before Rear Window began filming, Hitchcock and Jimmy Stewart, who were partners on the picture, scrapped the idea of filming in 3D and shot Rear Window flat. Of course, there were also budgetary reasons for this, and perhaps even more so than any artistic ones, since Jimmy Stewart and Hitchcock were participating in the profits of Rear Window. But knowing how Hitchcock and Bob Burks shot Dial M for Murder in 3D, it's almost as if Hitchcock and his production team left behind a blueprint of how Rear Window in 3D might have been.
What we had to do was take the 2D footage and duplicate it to create both the left and right eye views. Then, with every pixel mapped perfectly, we began the process of adding perspective, shape, and depth. We gave it shape first by rotoscoping. This allows us to separate the planes for each shot into foreground, middle ground, background, etc. Fortunately, because Rear Window was restored in 2000, we had the Technicolor matrices to work with. This sped up the process tremendously. Now, as the layers are separated, the areas behind that layer have to be recreated to supply the information that doesn't exist in the actual footage. When each of these steps is done well, for every single frame of every single shot in the movie, then we can achieve a perfect stereoscopic image. And it would be as if Hitchcock filmed it in 3D in the first place, as was originally intended.
So with that in mind, we figured if Hitchcock originally intended it to be a 3D movie, we wouldn't get too much flack from his loyal supporters. It was almost as though he'd given us permission to do this project.
Let's start from the beginning again, Jeff. Tell me everything you saw. And what you think it means.
I think that Rear Window is maybe the most popular movie he ever made. And when it comes out in 3D, people are going to be thrilled to see it.
Thankfully, the Rear Window 3D project was completely bogus, but I can't help but wondering if Alfred Hitchcock himself would have appreciated the joke. Thanks for watching.
That's it. All right.
I hope you have your 3D glasses ready for this one. As you know, Warner Brothers recently released a 3D Blu-ray edition of Dial M for Murder.
Oh, all right, good. I didn't want to see
Because
it.
we have the other audio to cut to for when I need, if I could cut away,
Right,
and then with,
okay.
but
Oh,
having
that's
you,
good.
Complete with fake rear window in the background.
as you know, Warner Brothers recently released a 3D Blu-ray edition of Dial M for Murder.
Okay, good, good.
I still do corporate crap on the weekends.
As you know, Warner Brothers recently released a 3D Blu-ray edition of Dial M for Murder, and I'll have something to say about that in the weeks to come. And my dog is barking, so scrap it.